I had a run-in with everyone. I disclosed that I made $100,000 on my ETH trade. Everybody was really upset with me because I
I'm Kevin Estopinal. Welcome back to the Kevin Estopinal Show, y'all. I'm in Miami, and I had to stop and holler at my good friend, Layah Heilpern. Layah, what's happening?
Great to be here. It's so exciting. Happy to meet you in person. You know, we've already done a lot of content together already. So yeah, it's great to see you. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, like, you know, because we talk so much on Twitter and we've done episodes together. And like, I do feel like I know you and your brother, but then like, here we are in Miami, like with this awesome view. I mean, this is just incredible, Layah. So is this kind of your typical Saturday night?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I think last Saturday night or last Friday night, we interviewed Luke Belmar.
Luke Belmar?
Yeah,
Whoa.
well, that's the beauty of Miami. Everybody is here. You know, it's one of the most up and coming cities in the world. You know, people often compare it to, people often say Dubai is better, LA is better. Dubai is not good. You have no property rights in Dubai. LA is full of woke people. Miami is where it's at. You know, we have guns, we have crypto. Everybody is flocking here. Such a huge tech boom. So yeah, if you come to Miami, you're going to love it. Great
organic food too. I mean, since I've been here, you know, I'm eating organic and stuff. It is just awesome. But you know, what's crazy, Layah, is, you know, I booked this trip. What a coincidental timing. I booked this trip. Then the SEC puts out a tweet about the Bitcoin spot ETF. Did you happen to see that?
You know what, Kevin? I was, I think, the first person to see the SEC's tweet. I commented underneath it and I got the most viral reply.
What was the reply?
I said something like, if any other financial institution were to make some kind of mistake like they did, and then therefore manipulate the market, affect the market, they would fine that institution hundreds of millions. I mean, you have to understand the SEC has been fining crypto companies in the hundreds of millions. I think they fined BlockFi over 100 million before they went bankrupt. Maybe they wouldn't have gone bankrupt if BlockFi didn't have to pay 100 million, you know? My replies were the ones that went viral.
Wow. You know, and it's like, it's crazy because people were posting the SEC had said something like, don't trust a source unless it comes from the SEC. And then it's like, we see the information that the ETF was approved, but their account was hacked. Do you think that's even possible?
Do you know, this is what I think happened with the SEC's tweet. I don't think their account was hacked. I think everybody knew on the inside that the Bitcoin spot ETF was going to be approved. And so they scheduled a tweet. But some idiot scheduled it for 24 hours earlier than it should have been done. And I think that's why when it was actually approved, we never had any kind of official announcement. But yeah, I just think some intern scheduled the tweet too early, and that's what happened.
Yeah, so the ETF gets approved, and I don't know. I'd like to hear your kind of thoughts on it. If you are you pro this ETF getting approved? You know, I kind of think it's kind of a monumental movement for Bitcoin. Are you kind of pro this ETF getting approved, or do you not like it?
So originally, I was anti the Bitcoin ETF getting approved simply because I don't like the idea that these major asset managers like BlackRock, who already own, I think, more than like 80% of you know, the companies in America, who already basically control everything. I don't like that they would own that much Bitcoin. But I've spoken to a lot of different people about this topic, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that it actually doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you own, because the Bitcoin and the network itself is still completely decentralized. Like, you can buy up all the Bitcoin, but you can't change the math and code of the network just because you buy up all that Bitcoin, right? Because it's down to the miners. If you buy up all the mining machinery, which is unlikely, then of course, yes, you control the network. But then I spoke to another person about this, and all that would happen is, say BlackRock were to buy up all the Bitcoin miners, right? Then therefore they control the network. Bitcoiners would then be incentivized to set up their own ASIC mining machines, and it would create further decentralization of the network. Does that make sense? So it's like any way that you try to attack Bitcoin, it's sort of counterproductive, and it actually benefits the network even more.
Yeah, it's almost like it seems like the way, and I know this was part of Satoshi's vision, was that, you know, he wanted to create this decentralization and this ability that, you know, me and you can be exposed to it. But like somebody like BlackRock, I would assume if they're buying this amount, they're going to want it to go up. And what I think they're going to do is maybe try to take it all off exchanges eventually. Do you think that's going to happen, where essentially BlackRock's going to buy as much of it as they can, remove it all into cold storage, and maybe that's like the end of Bitcoin, where like you can't even buy it anymore? Do you think that's a possibility?
I mean, I think Bitcoin is the most scarce asset in the world, and the smart money are aware of that. That's why we have the spot ETF. So yeah, I definitely think it's a flight to safety. I think it's going to be a race to the top, if you like, instead of a race to the bottom. Everybody's going to want as much Bitcoin as possible. But again, what does that do? That incentivizes you and I to buy more Bitcoin. But I do think, so that aside, in terms of like, concerns regarding centralization, I do think that it is a good thing. A lot of people are concerned that Bitcoin could become, could be banned, could be made illegal. Well, now that we have BlackRock and many other major asset managers owning Bitcoin, it solidifies Bitcoin as that, as that credible asset, as that digital gold, as that. And I think in some ways that then protects our savings and our money.
Not to you and I, but to asset managers, hedge funds, people like Edward Jones and stuff, where before, I had a financial advisor and I asked him about Bitcoin years ago. Couldn't even talk to me about it. Even if I wanted to buy it, I couldn't buy it. Now that Pandora's box, I believe, is open for these funds to be able to actually move Bitcoin into these ETFs, these exchange traded funds. Do you think that this is going to, we've seen Bitcoin's price actually rocket up in anticipation to the approval. The approval happened. Then Layah, what happened next after this ETF was approved?
Bitcoin price has been so interesting around the hype around the Bitcoin spot ETF. A lot of people were saying that the price of Bitcoin was going to explode. But you have to understand, it was completely priced in. And I've been saying this for months. I've been saying that the Bitcoin spot ETF is going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Everybody was upset with me. Everybody got very emotional, but we can't be emotional about these things. You just have to look at the last 3 months. Bitcoin has rallied. It was at $27,000. It's rallied $20,000 in the last 3 months. What, you think it's going to rally even more? No. Naturally, the price went up because of the anticipation and the hype of the approval. Once it gets approved, people are already like 200% up on their gains. They're going to want to take their money off the table. They're going to want to take some profits. And also you have to understand there's nothing else hyping up the market. There's nothing. And so it was a buy the rumor, sell the news event, which I predicted. And it's so funny because in crypto, especially with Bitcoin, people are so emotional and people got so angry at me. But, you just have to look at the facts. You have to look at the charts and, nothing goes up forever. Something has to cool off.
Yeah, it's still a young asset class. And, to see any type of price correction like this is normal. I kind of looked at it the same way, just standard manipulation. But, what I see as more of a milestone coming up would be the Bitcoin halving, which I believe we're like less than 100 days away. So do you see the halving as a much bigger event than the spot ETF?
No, I see the spot ETF as a bigger event than the halving simply because of what the approval means for Bitcoin. Like we said, it legitimizes Bitcoin as that asset class, right? And, we saw Bitcoin rise over $20,000 as a result of all the hype around it. The halving is different. I think the halving is extremely important because I think, if you just look at history, that's what starts the bull run, right? We have the halving, maybe there's a little pullback. The halving is also a little bit of a buy the rumor, sell the news. But eventually, as the months go by, 6 months later, we do start to see the impact of that scarcity event. So I think the halving is extremely important in terms of sparking that next bull run and making Bitcoin even more scarce. I would just sort of say, firstly, they're different. But I would sort of say that the spot ETF is a little bit more historic.
Yeah, I think it's a very monumental day for Bitcoin. And it's just, again, crazy that I just happened to be out here when all this happened. So I'm glad I was able to run into you. But, I'm all about, Bitcoin. I believe in the value proposition. I believe in the decentralization. I believe in, Satoshi's vision for this asset class. But Layah, as much as I believe in that, I'm also looking for alpha. I'm looking for return. I'm looking for yield. So I guess as an investor, what I'm looking at is if this ETF's approved, I would assume that Pandora's box is open for more ETFs approved. Do you think maybe maybe this year we could see an Ethereum ETF get approved or a Solana ETF get approved? Do you think that's on the table?
So I definitely think that an Ethereum ETF is on the table. I think we've seen BlackRock talk about it. Larry Fink has hinted towards it. Ethereum has also consolidated itself as a legitimate asset. The SEC haven't called it a security. I often say that the entire internet right now is being built on Ethereum. So I definitely don't think Ethereum is going anywhere. If we have a Bitcoin spot ETF, I definitely think an ETH ETF is definitely likely. In terms of Pandora's box opening, I don't think so. I don't think we'll see a Solana ETF. I don't think we'll see an XRP ETF. I saw somebody talking about that today. Those coins are truly shit coins in its truest sense, and they're so volatile. They're so they're very small cap coins as well in comparison to Bitcoin and ETH, and so I don't see them as legitimate asset classes. I think what we'll see is, it sort of reminds me of like the .com boom, where you have all these different all these different things, and only a few will survive. Bitcoin will survive, Ethereum will survive, maybe one more. Everything else, I don't think it's going to survive. So it's not worthy of an ETF.
Yeah, I think you may be right on that. I do think we may see an Ethereum ETF and a Solana ETF. Now, you brought up the SEC and Ethereum. I believe what Gary Gensler said is that obviously Bitcoin's a commodity. It's not a security. So that was another milestone. He didn't say Ethereum was a commodity, but he didn't say it was a security. He actually put Ethereum in an other category. Those were his words. And I think that because of the applications, like you said, that you can build on top of Ethereum, do you think that maybe it's greenlit? It's maybe even the chosen one of the financial elite, the SEC. Do you think that Ethereum is kind of the chosen one going into this bull run?
I think Ethereum definitely has the best risk reward when I look at this upcoming bull run. It's the king of altcoins, smaller market cap than Bitcoin. So naturally, it's going to pump harder than Bitcoin. The rest are all extremely, extremely risky. Like I said, everything is being built on Ethereum right now. The SEC haven't called it a security. They put it in that other category. And so I feel like it's the safest that's going to pump the hardest, if that makes sense. Bitcoin, we know it's safe. But ultimately, Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin in this upcoming bull run.
What about, and this is one of my thesis, is finding the next Ethereum, finding maybe one of these layer twos. Obviously there's a lot more risk. I'm with you there that Ethereum, because of the green light from the SEC, essentially, the others don't. But I'm looking at layer twos on top of Ethereum, because for Ethereum to scale, we're going to need these layer twos because it's got a lot of issues, you know what I'm saying? So, but it is a young asset class as well. You looking at any other altcoins, any layer twos, anything like that?
I think Matic is a good one. Polygon, I think that's the go-to layer two for Ethereum. It's proven itself. It performs well during the alt season. But in terms of it getting its own ETF or it having some kind of protection under the SEC, I just don't see it happening right now. It's such an immature market. We're so new. Everything is so early right now that we're just trying to get the layer ones approved. We are so far from getting layer twos approved. In terms of the Ethereum killer, Solana could be the Ethereum killer. You have to understand that people will always, throughout history, in the present and in the future, will always prefer convenience over security, right? People want something that's fast. That's what they desire. And Solana beats both Bitcoin and Ethereum on that. People don't care about decentralization. They just don't. And if we're going to get crypto to the masses, people want easy, they want fast, they want convenience. Solana is the easiest to buy. Bitcoin is actually extremely difficult for a newbie to get their hands on. Think about it. They got to get on an exchange, right? Which is actually quite difficult if you've never used an exchange before. You've got to go through all these issues with the bank, connecting your card, your bank gets declined, then your funds get locked because they think it's fraud and it's crypto and oh my God, you can't touch crypto. Bitcoin is really difficult to get a hold of. The way that I acquire Bitcoin mostly is through salary, income. People pay me in Bitcoin. That's how I acquire it. Ethereum is easier because you have decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, which are so easy to use. Yeah, albeit it's a little bit more technical, but it's faster. There's no KYC, there's no credit cards, there's no banks. You have none of that. It's so much easier. But Solana is even easier. Just download Phantom Wallet, connect your card, you're done.
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of NFTs on Solana. Did you see there's a Solana store in Wynwood? Did you get a chance to go there yet?
I haven't seen, but honestly, I just don't care. I don't see
I don't
myself.
know what's in it. Maybe a phone?
I don't know. If I happen to be in Wynwood, I'll check it out, but I don't see myself running to the Solana store. Solana just doesn't do it for me, you know, because yes, I said everybody prefers convenience over security, but I'm not everybody. I don't care about convenience. I care about security, and I'm fascinated by Bitcoin.
Yeah, you know, Bitcoin, obviously, you know, we know the value proposition now. You have on one side these Bitcoin maxis, and it sounds like you had a little run in with maybe the Bitcoin maxis or the ETH maxis when you made your big ETH sale. Was it both sides?
You know what, Kevin? I had a run in with everyone. I disclosed that I made $100,000 on my ETH trade. Everybody was really upset with me because I sold. Number one, they were so emotional. They thought the market was going up forever. So they couldn't believe that a big influencer like me has taken profit and sold. Well, actually, I sold at the perfect time. I sold at 25.25. Yes, it went up to 2,700, but you don't want to sell the top because you can't time the top.
Can't time or the bottom.
No. So you want to sell as close to the top as possible. And I sold. I made $100,000 in just a few days. And the next day, the market crashed. And so I did really good. You know, there's this idea that you have to hodl forever. Don't hodl forever. You want to make life-changing gains. You know, you can't fight the system if you are broke. You really can't. And the best way to save yourself and your family, which should be your priority, is to get as rich as possible, as quick as possible. So people were extremely mad at me because I wasn't one of them. I didn't hold on forever. Well, no, because like, I have a car to buy. I have money to send my parents. I have grass-fed meat to buy because all the food here is vaccinated. You know, I have a life to live. Life is expensive. And it's crazy. These people are so deluded because they don't realize that you can always buy back in.
Yeah.
Just because you sell, it doesn't mean that you're out
you can
forever.
Never come back in.
Once you sell, you're never allowed back in. No, this is how it works. You don't time the top. You take profit when you make life-changing gains. When the market inevitably crashes, like I predicted and I was correct, you then go back in. I haven't gone back in yet because we're still at 2,500. I'm looking to go back in anything sub 2,400. I'm looking to go in, hopefully, what would be ideal is around 2,000, 2,100.
Well, that'd be a great entry. Just wait for Jim Cramer to tweet something about Ethereum. Layah, you know, for anybody watching this doesn't know, Layah actually has a very large following on X. And, you know, what's interesting, Layah, is even if you sold all that ETH, and let's say all your followers sold all their ETH, Layah Heilpern does not move the market, y'all. Even with her influence, even if she's got $100,000 worth of ETH, that's not what moves these markets. Right. So do you think it's something deeper with these, like a psychological thing, like, you know, you're one of us? Right. Or do you think that they think that you're manipulating the market? Which one do you think it is?
So you have to understand, crypto is extremely tribal. And two things happened. The first thing is they didn't like that. They thought that I was manipulating the market. They said that I was fudding the market. By Layah saying she's selling and she's out, everybody else is going to copy and start selling, and I'm going to FUD the market. Maybe, I doubt it. I didn't think I was that influential, but if they think I am, I'll take the compliment. But the second point, and I think this is more to the point, is that people are extremely emotional and they're very tribal. And I actually had a comment. Somebody said, "You're not one of us."
Wow.
And I thought to myself, I don't want to be one of you. You're probably broke in your mother's basement. I want to be out here in Miami making money, sending money to my parents, building a life for myself, building great savings for myself so that I can provide a beautiful life for my children one day. I don't want to be one of you. I'm an independent thinker. Like I said,
how dare you?
You should not time the top of the market. You should aim for profit. You should aim for life-changing gains. And like I said, you can get back in at any point. I don't have a collectivist mindset. And the funny thing is, they said that I'm not one of you, that I wasn't one of them, because they thought that I sold my Bitcoin. So to be clear, guys, I have never sold my Bitcoin. I want to make that extremely clear. I never even specified what crypto I sold, but since we're talking about it, I sold my ETH. That's what I sold. Like I said, Bitcoin I find is way too difficult to move around. I will eventually sell my Bitcoin, but...
And you'll let us know, obviously. Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't think I will. It's too private.
Yeah, you're right.
It's Bitcoin.
You're right.
It's
nothing
different.
good can come from tweeting that.
No, nothing good. But either way, I never sold my Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
I did sell my ETH, and they said that I wasn't one of them because they thought I sold my Bitcoin. I don't want to be one of you. Even though I still hold Bitcoin, I don't want to be one of you.
You know, you and we talked a few times, and it's crazy. I really wish I would need to look back and see what the actual price of Bitcoin was when we talked. So
I think, sorry to interrupt you, but I think the last time we spoke, Bitcoin was around $16,000 to $17,000.
I think it was, yeah. Do you feel at all like, obviously, you know, your Bitcoin predictions, your Ethereum, your spot ETF predictions, you know, even your Andrew Tate, you know, you kind of were out in the fire with that. Do you feel vindicated at all this year?
No, I don't. I don't feel vindicated at all. And I don't feel vindicated because I'm a woman.
Mm.
So they hate the fact that I'm a woman in crypto winning.
Mm.
And so anything I do, they hypersexualize me. They laugh at me. They call me stupid. Kevin, I made $100,000 in less than a week on an ETH trade.
Mm-hmm.
And they still think that I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
They still think I'm an idiot because I'm a woman. I saw an account today and all they did, they create these memes of me with like boobs spilling over and all of that. And I'm like, that's not how I present myself. So no, I don't feel vindicated. I saw major male accounts say that the Bitcoin spot ETF was not a buy the rumor, sell the news event. These men said that the market was going to pump. They said that anybody saying that the Bitcoin spot ETF was a buy the rumor, sell the news event is stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. These are men. Nobody came running after them. They come running after me. But it's absolutely fine. Because I made $100,000 in less than a week.
Yeah, and you know, y'all, I mean, that just shows you right there the power of crypto, and that's why, you know, in the last couple of years, especially since you and I have started talking, like I've put so much more, not just capital, but time and knowledge. So for maybe somebody new just getting in, you know, maybe somebody's getting in, and do you think it might be like too late? Do you think that this could be the last bull run? I mean, the halving's right here. Is it too soon? Because, you know, we're seeing this whole fumbling of Bitcoin, you know, if everybody knows that what happened with Dave Portnoy. So, but that reminds me of like that people need to be educated on this stuff before they put their money in. But it seems like people are chasing that return. So they're not even worried about the education of Bitcoin or understand anything about it. So do you think there's still time though for somebody new, or should they educate themselves first?
It's such a great question. I think that there is still time for a new person entering crypto, but the time is running out very fast. I say this because a lot of these altcoins that pump really hard and you get those 100x returns, they're going to die out. Like America is going to ban that. The SEC is going to crush that.
Eventually. Yeah.
Eventually, very soon. You also have to understand that the more credible Bitcoin is becoming because of the spot ETF, even Ethereum, it's going to be less volatile. And it's actually going to even itself out. And these bull runs may not really exist so much anymore. You know, Bitcoin could turn into the next gold, right? The digital gold. Do we see that type of volatility with gold? No, we don't. We don't see that with gold.
Just an older asset class. So eventually, yeah.
Right. So the more Bitcoin and Ethereum have credibility and have backing from the SEC and institutions like BlackRock, the more stable these assets are going to become. And we're not going to see these returns anymore. I really believe what we've seen over the last 10 years is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a once in a lifetime phenomenon. And it's like a once in a generation phenomenon. And we are so lucky that we got to experience it. This is not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. And, you know, we've had a slight pullback. And I'd say over the next few weeks before the halving, that is the time to get into Bitcoin and Ethereum, because this could be your very last bull run.
I do kind of feel that same way, that, you know, eventually as this asset class matures, that the price will stabilize. But yeah, the volatility is where we make money. But Layah, so we know a lot of the problems with ETH. Why do you think the SEC it just seems to be the chosen one? Like, it just seems like, you know, Vital kind of weirds me out.
Yeah.
The whole WEF stuff. But it just seems like it's not going anywhere. And it's really becoming like, you know, if Bitcoin's digital gold, maybe Ethereum's like digital oil, or the new internet, a new layer of the internet. Why do you think it's so, why do you think it's the chosen one?
I think Ethereum's the chosen one because it has first mover advantage.
First smart contract platform. Wow.
Right. Everybody's building on it. Everything is being built on it.
Mhm.
DEXs, these decentralized exchanges, were the most game-changing thing in crypto. It's so easy to use, it's fast. The stable coins are built on them.
Mhm.
It's got first mover advantage. And so naturally, it's not going anywhere. You build so much infrastructure on something, it's kind of hard to take down.
Mhm.
We have everything from, NFTs, arts, education, decentralized banks, social media platforms. It has everything. And also all the layer 2s are built on it. I think Solana could be an Ethereum killer. I'm not saying that it's not. It's just, it doesn't have that first mover advantage.
Since I've been in crypto, I can't tell you. I mean, countless Ethereum killers. I've heard, and I invest in some of them, but yeah, I'm with you there. But I guess one thing that perhaps could derail or delay the bull run would be a black swan event.
Right.
And obviously, nobody can predict a black swan event, but do you think 2024 could be the year of the black swan event?
We could have a black swan event in 2024, but I don't think it's going to prevent the inevitable bull run that's coming. I like to look at history. I think it's the best way to determine how the future is going to be.
Mhm.
It's never 100%, but it's a really good indicator. And in 2020, obviously, we had the major crash. We had COVID right at the same time as the halving. Bitcoin crashed 50%. It went from $8,000 to $4,000. It crashed 50%. And yet, we still had our bull run. You also have to understand that a lot of this money printing is pushing up these markets, right? And I don't think people are aware the money printing hasn't stopped. They've, how did they bail out those banks that crashed?
The money print's never going to stop.
They printed so much money secretly to bail out all those major banks that crashed in November 2022. And that is actually, if you look at the market if you look at the chart, that's actually when the bull run started again. That's when we bottomed. We bottomed at $16,000. The banks crashed. They start printing money. And since November 2022, we've been on the up. So like you said, money printing is never going to stop, which tells me that despite any potential black swan event, we have a halving this year. And I think we're going to see a bull run.
What about now? I think that this cycle is going to be very similar. I'm not going to get into price predictions. I'm going to be wrong. But I think that this cycle is going to be very similar to previous 4-year cycles. What about Layah's plan, like after Bitcoin? Like obviously there's a profit taking strategy. Are you trying to move into other assets, maybe real estate, maybe gold, maybe anything like that?
There's something about Bitcoin which I'm so fascinated by. It's decentralized nature. It's its portability. It's the way it's so discreet. I love that. It really aligns with my philosophy. So I think I'm always going to hold Bitcoin. I like the fact that I can move, I can run, the world is so unpredictable. So I like how portable it is, right? And how discreet it is. But I do want to diversify. I am interested in real estate. I definitely want to hold gold bars. I also want to hold US Treasury bonds. I want to be fully decentralized and I want to hold everything. Why deprive yourself of all these different opportunities?
Yeah, so I think there's kind of two schools of thoughts on that. Some people say if you have an asset that you believe in, that you understand, that you should go all in on that. I kind of look at the other philosophy, which is as I acquire wealth, I want to diversify and I want to de-risk as much as possible. And just the way the United States is, the way the laws are, real estate has historically been a hedge against inflation. It is getting harder for real estate for a landlord, but I always think there'll be opportunity in real estate. But, one area I'm looking at real estate is out here in Miami. Not just, obviously becoming basically the de facto crypto hub of the United States. But do you see Miami as investable right now? Like, would this be somewhere where you would buy property?
I would definitely buy property in Miami. I'm not a real estate guru by no means, but what I do know for certain is that property has skyrocketed here. I don't know whether now's a good time to buy. I don't know where we are in the market, but I definitely would buy property in Miami, maybe on the outsides, but definitely, South Florida. I see myself living here long term. And no, I 100% buy property here.
Yeah, no, I feel it. You know, my Uber drivers were talking about crypto. It's just got a real good freedom mindset here. And
it's also just because everybody's moving here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the place to be.
It's the place to be. Everybody's moving here, and there's always going to be demand for more and more property as more and more people move here. So naturally, it seems like a smart thing to do.
Supply and demand. Now, Layah, we're just getting into 2024. You got any New Year's resolutions, or do you not believe in New Year's resolutions?
I don't believe in New Year's resolutions at all. I think that if you want to change your life, you're going to do it today. You're not going to wait for 2 weeks until the clock strikes 12. But one thing I am doing is I want to get in amazing shape. We spoke a little bit about this before the podcast. It's just something that I'm really into right now. I feel that I've leveled up my finances, I've leveled up my environment, I've leveled up my relationships, and now it's time to level up my body. And a lot of people would say to me, "Oh, but you already look good." It's like, yeah, but I can look even better. And I've kind of been going down this fitness rabbit hole. And one thing which upsets me a little bit is I feel the same way about fitness as I feel about finance. I'll explain. In school, you're not taught how to manage your money. You're not taught how to invest. You're not taught about debt, how to leverage debt and all these different things. You have to learn it yourself. And when you learn it yourself and you learn about Bitcoin, inflation, supply and demand, all these different things, your mind is like blown. You're orange pilled, you're red pilled, you're all these different pills. And I feel the same way about fitness. Nobody really teaches you how to eat properly. The food pyramid is a massive scam.
Massive scam.
Nobody teaches you how to work out properly. There's all these different intricate things about fitness, which I'm learning, and nobody teaches you these things. So I feel about fitness the same way I feel about finance. I feel somewhat scammed. I feel like, school and society didn't teach me these things.
Everything's a lie.
Right. Everything's a lie. So it's my new venture. It's my new mission to get in amazing shape.
Yeah. What good is wealth if you're not in shape?
Right.
If you have all the money in the world and you don't have your health, then the money's going to do you no good. Now, Layah, last time we talked, I think you gave a great definition of what is the matrix, and you broke that down very well. But I want to ask you something else, because I watched your interview with Luke Belmar, and he talks about glitches in the matrix. Right. What do you think a glitch? What is your definition of what a glitch in the matrix is?
A glitch in the matrix. A glitch in the matrix is an opportunity which comes around once in a lifetime. Bitcoin is a glitch in the matrix.
Wow, Bitcoin is that's a bar there. I like that.
It's an opportunity that allows you to fuck the system. That allows you to take control over your finances, over your life, over your health, whatever it is. Bitcoin is a glitch in the system. Crypto in general is a glitch in the system. They didn't anticipate it. Shitcoins, meme coins are a glitch in the system. You have 16-year-olds making millions off of Pepe, a frog. Those are glitches in the matrix, and they are once in a generation.
Yeah, I feel the same way. So, in the Matrix, I was actually downstairs walking on the boardwalk, and it was two guys walked past with the exact same Shiba Inu dog. So I just spoke out loud. I'm like, glitch in the Matrix. And they both start laughing. I was like, I got to get out of here. Because in the movie, when you see a glitch in the Matrix, that's something bad in the movie. But no, I'm with you. I think a glitch in the Matrix is like in a video game. A glitch is normally an exploit that wasn't planned by the game developers that a player can use to gain an unfair advantage. So essentially not cheating because it's not in the rules. It's a glitch. So great definition. So Layah, so you've been in Miami like 2 or 3 years now?
Yeah.
So since Miami, Florida, I think this is the freest state in the union, and the American dream. George Carlin famously said the American dream because you'd have to be asleep to believe it. Do you feel, coming to America, do you feel like the American dream's still alive?
People are so miserable nowadays. They love to hate on the American dream and say that it's dead, but I don't really think that it's dead. People are still coming to America. They're flocking to America. The opportunities that I have in America, I would never have had in Europe. I'm so grateful to be here. We're in Miami. We're surrounded by a lot of Latinos, a lot of Hispanic people. The opportunities that they have, they would never have had in their home countries. So to say that the American dream is dead, I think is a lazy mentality. What I will say, though, is that there is another type of American dream, which you could consider as a little bit of a scam. And I think it's the idea of, if you work really, really hard, and you get good grades and you go to university and get yourself into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt and you climb the corporate ladder, that maybe one day you'll be able to retire with the fruits of your labor. I think that is dead. And that in a way is very much the American dream. And I think it's an idea which the elites give us as a carrot to dangle.
Mm-hmm.
It's hope. It's what keeps us working. It's what keeps us slaves. It's what
has
keeps
to be
us
hope. We have to have
right.
hope.
It's what keeps us as the cogs in the machine,
Mm-hmm.
doing our thing, doing what's supposed to be doing, paying taxes so that they can, live at large or whatever, live off our money.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that there's more opportunity in America is very much real. I think you have to be lazy if you don't believe that. You're not working hard enough. But the idea that, you can work a good job and work a 9 to 5 and work your way up the corporate ladder and one day retire, I think that's completely dead.
Mm-hmm.
No, you need a glitch in the matrix. You need to be smart. You need to be doing something different in order to even consider retiring at the end.
Yeah, I think the whole, a lot of people work a job for 30, 40 years, retire from that same job. Yeah, I agree. I think that's over with. And what I love about what the founding fathers said about the American dream was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they really, really pick their words very well, because notice the last sentence, the pursuit of happiness, meaning that they're not guaranteeing that you're going to be happy, but you actually have the freedom to pursue the happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the biggest thing. So as we're going into 2024, Layah, do you have any other predictions for us? I mean, I'm thinking maybe like a big company like Apple maybe announces a publicly traded company announces a giant Bitcoin buy. That's my crazy prediction. Do you have any predictions for 2024?
Yeah, I think 2024, we're going to see an incredible bull run. I think Bitcoin's going to reach all-time highs. I think Ethereum is also going to reach all-time highs. We could see a black swan event. Don't think it's going to affect the market. I think that we could see a major company like Apple dump a lot of money into Bitcoin. I think that's definitely likely.
Well, the black swan events, I wouldn't be surprised if we have one. But like you said, about COVID, if this asset class could survive COVID, even a massive cyber attack, that I don't think it's not going to take the whole world offline. So yeah, that this asset class would survive, not only the deadliest pandemic ever, but also a cyber attack. So,
yeah.
Even just Jim Cramer, I don't know why I'm quoting Jim Cramer. Even Jim Cramer said Bitcoin cannot be killed. Like
right.
it's crazy.
That means Bitcoin might be able to be killed. I don't know. But I was also going to say that I think we're going to see another Latin American country adopt Bitcoin as legal tender.
So
I think
another
that's
nation state do it.
I think so, yeah, because I understand that Nayib Bukele is talking with a lot of different presidents down there, and they need a solution.
Whether it's Nayib Bukele or Michael Saylor or MicroStrategy, it just seems like these guys are going to go down as legends, and that these bets are going to be looked back at as some of the greatest investment moves of all time. I'm super excited. But Layah, where can my audience find you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm everywhere for now. I'm on Twitter, X. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I'm on YouTube. And I actually have a podcast where I speak to a lot of really interesting people, have a lot of fascinating discussions about a range of different topics, business, finance, leveling up. So yeah, it's just at Layah Heilpern, my first and my last name, and I'm everywhere.
All right, well, y'all be sure to eat your red meat in 2024. And thank you so much for watching, y'all. Give Layah a follow. I'll have all the links to her pages in the description of this video. Anyway, y'all, we're out. Peace.